Hi guys. So, going to talk about bad moods, frustration, anxiety, worries, concerns, fears, all of those things. Just as an example, had a really bad day yesterday myself. So, woke up in the morning to the alarm not going off, which meant everyone was up late because obviously it's the alarm that sets us up for the day. The alarm wasn't going, got everyone dressed and ready downstairs, and we had no milk, so then we couldn't do breakfast. From there we were trying to obviously get out the door and get in the car, and littlest man needed a nappy change. So all back inside, all clean everything up, get ready, just going out the door again, and the older one needed a toilet break. So okay, go and do that. By the time we're in the car, we're already late, we're already done. There's no point, we know we're going to be late. On the way we hit umpteen tractors, like tractors galore. It was tractor fest on the roads. So every minute that's passing, I'm getting more and more frustrated and worked up because I'm thinking this is just ridiculous now. We are really late. We get there and it's fine, he is late and I have to make apologies, and in he goes. And then obviously on for my day, trying to do the rest of the things that I needed to do. And it just snowballed. So many little things that could just go wrong went wrong, and they're only tiny, insignificant little things. I'm not talking like big disasters of the world or anything like that, but just tiny little things that just cause a reaction or just make you stressed. And actually a lot of them that probably wouldn't have caused a reaction in me or got me stressed or frustrated had the first set not happened. So how does trigger stacking work? Think of it in the same way as putting a pot of water on the stove ready to boil, and you're heating that water with tea lights, and every time something happens, from the minute you wake up in the morning until you go to night, every time something happens that causes a reaction, so you get frustrated or you're anxious or just worked up, any of those things, you add a tea light underneath. So for me, pretty much by sort of 2 or 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I was getting to boiling point, and it was really, I was really getting frustrated. So by that point, by the time you've got say 15-20 tea lights underneath and you're starting to boil up, it actually doesn't really matter what happens next. Really, it doesn't, because whatever it is, you are ready to face it, and you're ready to basically explode, and you're ready to explode at that thing, that person, object, whatever it is that's caused the next frustration. So for me, because I can recognize that from what I do and understanding the way I work, I've learned to cope with that. So instead of going up and exploding, I actually try and bring myself down, and I try and calm myself. So and there's lots of little things that I will do as well. So you could resort to some chocolate, or I could resort to just talking to somebody. So for me, it was a cuddle. So hubby got in last night, and the first thing I just wanted to do was just to give him a cuddle and just say, had a really bad day, and just talk it through. Now a few years back I wouldn't have done that. I would have just exploded, and unfortunately whoever was there would have got the brunt of that explosion. So it's exactly the same for our animals, our dogs. They wake up in the morning, and we have to consider how many memories we give them. We bank up hopefully as many good memories as we can, and if we can bank those good memories, then hopefully by the end of the day those good memories have outweighed the bad ones. So the tea light, the banked up ones that's boiling that kettle. But if we don't do that, then what we're doing is we're creating a situation where our dogs are getting a little bit more heated until the end. So say for example your dog is not great with the postman coming to the door, and they wake up in the morning, and just, I don't know, say you're running late and you're rushing around in the morning and you haven't got time to do their general, half an hour walk or whatever it is you do with them in the morning, so it had to be cut shorter. That might be a little tea light, because they're like, well, hang on a minute, mum's a bit stressed, everyone's running around. They start feeling that anxiety because they can feel your tension, and then they start feeling that little bit of pressure. Again, that's a little tea light for them. Then the postman comes to the door, and they have a reaction to that, and it's like, oh, go away, Mr. Postman, and if they're not a keen fan of the postman. So again, that's another little tea light that comes underneath. Then you go to work. So you go to work and you leave them, and then they start to see people going past the window or anything, and again they're sort of chasing that window all day long, so it's creating more and more anxiety in them. by the time you come home in the evening and you're ready to take them on their evening walk, they are way over threshold. By that I mean that their anxiety level and their energy level is way above what it should be. So if we can try and reduce some of those little triggers throughout the day, so for example, try and work on making them like the postman, and if you can't do that, if you can't team up with a trainer that can help you do that, or Google some different tips and things, then try and think about just shutting them away, you know, not having access to the postman area, to the door or anything, or putting up a screen blind on the window so they can't see out and they can't then trigger all day long. They're only tiny little, as I said, the insignificant little triggers really, but they all mount up. So the more tea lights that go under that pot by the end of the day, the more they are stressed, anxious, frustrated, you know, whatever, the arousal is much higher. So if we can try and think about how we can reduce and take away on a daily basis those tea lights, and just make them happy and more calm and more balanced with some of those things, then you're going to have less reactions to the bigger things. So if we can get rid of all the little things, so say for example, your dog's biggest trigger is when they're out on a walk, it triggers with other dogs. Now, if it had during the day no other tea lights put under it, it would probably have a lower, now not in all cases, you know, obviously each dog's different, but in general, if we can reduce some of those triggers, it wouldn't have as big of a reaction as it had, because it's had, say, 20 other triggers hit it throughout the day. So you're stacking up and banking up some bad memories there. So just think about that. So like for me this morning, I made sure there was milk, I made sure there was 2 alarms set, you know, I kind of made sure that we were, you know, a little bit on check with the toilet break. So I sort of said to my older one, before we even got to the door, do you need the toilet break? So we were done with that. So it is a little bit of planning, it is a little bit of management, and it is obviously training. So when it comes to dogs, you know, we do need to train them to not be so, you know, reactive or fearful or scared, frustrated at little things, so that it makes the bigger things less of a reaction. So we do need to put that energy and that time into them. But just to give you a little bit of understanding how trigger stack can work, because I tell you, you know, by 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I was ready to blow. Fortunately, I had that knowledge and know-how and sort of just a bit of time to calm down and give myself some coping mechanisms. And that's what we need to do. We need to teach our dog coping mechanisms. So when they see the postman, instead of, you know, barking and getting sort of over aroused and what have you at the post coming through the door, you know, teach them an opposite behaviour. Teach them that when the postman comes, their behaviour is to sit, and that can be through reward based training. Obviously everything's done positively, but it's a mutual exclusive behaviour. So it's a behaviour they can't, you know, they can't then start jumping and barking around because they're in a sit position. Or just teach them to go to their mat, go to their bed, or go and pick up a toy and bring it to you. Anything else, so don't focus on what it is that they're doing wrong, focus on what you can do to help them get it right. Anyway, just wanted to just chat away, I guess, and give you some info on that. So if you see me around, give me a chat and go and have fun with your dogs. Thanks, guys.